I know you love it when we bring up quotes from early in your career when you first got here, but
I do not recall.
you don't. Well, then I may have to remind you one.
I do not recall. I might have short-term memory here, Tim. If you're gonna reminisce at this point.
Well, I'll make it real quick. The comment about 6 and 5 is not good enough, and
I still agree with that.
And so my question is, then do you feel that because that's not good enough, is there a justification on the university's part to call an end to this era?
You know something, if they decide to make a change, okay, I'd have to say that I'd have a tough time arguing with that. If they decided to make a change, I'd have a tough time arguing with that, because 6 and 5 isn't good enough, especially when you've lost 5 games by a touchdown or less. Okay, and several 3-point games, and right down to the wire. Okay, my intent is to be here. Okay, but if that were the rationale, I mean, it'd be tough for me to argue at that point.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie, you talked a little bit yesterday, but just the fact that the players showing the support for you coming out of the tunnel, and then after the game, I don't know if you saw any of the quotes, but a lot of the players were supporting you, saying it's not the coach's fault, it's not our fault. What does that mean to you?
Well, it means that we recruited the right guys. The guys that have a lot of character. Most college kids, have some, except for the true leaders of the team, like the top player, the Jimmy Clausen type, have a tough time, taking on the accountability issue, and taking the blame and putting it on their own shoulders, rather than letting it go in another direction. They don't need to do that. Tom, I know I'm the head coach of the team, so ultimately the responsibilities of things that go wrong fall on my shoulders. So they don't need to do that. But the fact that they're saying those things tells you a lot about the character of those guys, because they don't need to be doing it. And I don't ask them to do it. I don't want them to do it. But the fact that they are doing it shows you the character of the kids that we bring in here.
And kind of just to put a point on what your answer to Tim's question, you wouldn't see any scenario where you would go to Jack Swarbrick and say, I'm stepping down. There wouldn't be a resignation.
That's not happening. But Tim's question was a fair question, Pete, where he said that if they decided to do something, could you understand that? And I'm the head football coach. Who else is responsible? I could sit there and try to blame everyone else, but who has to? Ultimately, it falls on my shoulders. That's the way it is.
Thanks.